Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Beyond Lean Co-Intelligent Manufacturing with Neila, in which we will be going through Neila, our new AI assistant for mlean and DMPS. First of all, thank you all of you for joining us. My name is David Rebollo, and I am Head of Marketing at mlean. And today I have the immense pleasure and honor to be joined by Angélica Lozano, our CTO.
Hello.
Welcome, Angélica. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you very much to you for joining us. She is the person behind the development of Neila, and she will help us today explain not only what Neila is, but also why we believe that AI can become really useful for daily manufacturing operations through real use cases. Well, first of all, remind everyone that the session is being recorded. You will get a link to access the recording of the session at the end of it when it's finished. You will be able also to share it with your colleagues, with whoever you think it might be useful for. And also remember, everyone, you can submit your questions during this live webinar. At the end of the webinar, we will have some time to go through the questions you submitted. You have also the option to submit them anonymously. So don't hesitate, please, to submit any questions you have at any point, and we will go through all of them at the end of the session. Perfect. But before we get into Neila, let me give a little bit of context for those of you who don't know who we are. We are mlean. mlean is one of the leading operational excellence software providers in the world. We have more than 250,000 users, active users, using daily the system. We are deployed in more than 500 factories from more than 70 global companies. Leading companies across multiple sectors use the MPS and use mlean to digitize their operations, whether it is automotive, food and beverage, aerospace, many other sectors, as you can see here. We invite you to go to our website, mlean.com, where you will be able to read more about some of the success stories that we've had with some of these clients. So what is mlean and what is exactly DMPS? DMPS is a modular platform which connects teams by digitizing daily shop floor operations. And this basically makes the shop floor much more agile, and it improves execution. Whether it is routines, audits, action plans, standards, problem-solving, maintenance, and many more, the MPS digitizes all those shop floor operations, which are managed under one single system. And this basically gives an incredible visibility on what is happening on the shop floor, what everyone needs to be doing at every time, so everyone is completely aligned all the time. And this is crucial because we see that there's a lot of many factories. Factories in general generate a huge amount of operational knowledge, but we see that there's a lot of factories for which this knowledge lives inside scattered systems, whether it is spreadsheets, independent systems, or knowledge and information still lives inside people's heads in a lot of factories. So the real challenge factories face today is making all that knowledge and all that information usable in real time. So teams can make better decisions, they can act faster, they can be more agile, and it's easier to go from findings into action. So today we will be talking about Neila. Neila is our latest addition to the MPS. It's our AI assistant which lives inside the MPS, and we will see how Neila can boost efficiency in managing that knowledge and information that we were talking about. So we will have today a super interesting conversation with Angélica. So let's go dive deep into Neila and AI in manufacturing. Please, again, remember, submit your questions whenever you have them, and we will go through them at the end of the session. So, Angélica, let's start with the basics. What exactly is Neila, if you needed to define it briefly?
So Neila is the generative AI layer that we've built on top of the mlean production system, on top of the MPS. And it's designed to be an intelligent, proactive assistant on the shop floor. So our design philosophy is maximum utility, minimum user interaction. So Neila is integrated in all those modules that you've shown so that team leaders and operators can make smarter decisions without the overload of wasting time navigating a complex interface.
Mhm. Perfect. So basically, applying this AI layer in manufacturing. But I have one question before we start understanding better how Nila works, etc. And this is regarding AI in manufacturing, because AI in manufacturing is not new. I mean, everyone knows and has heard about AI in manufacturing environments. So can we go through what types of AI we're using, are being used currently in manufacturing environments?
Yes, as you said, AI or machine learning is not new in
Hmm.
industry. So we've been hearing for years specific projects, big data projects on how to improve global energy consumption, for example, or computer vision applied for quality checks. So I think the challenge now, or the difference, the problem that we are still tackling is how to use those technologies to make people, to make collaborators, to make the people on the shop floor more efficient. And I think that the explosion of LLMs has accelerated that problem. But the good thing is that it has made it solvable at the same time.
Hmm. Okay, so basically not applying AI to machines, as you said, but more
Mhm.
to people and operations, right?
Right.
Um, Also, again, here we see we talk with clients, with customers, with many people in the manufacturing environment, and we see that a lot of people. This is a common concern. They all want to apply AI, and they all want to use, and they are starting to use some AI tools,
Mhm.
Copilot, ChatGPT, etc., etc. But what are the main challenges those factories face normally when they try to implement these type of tools or apply AI specifically into operations?
Right. As you said, there's a lot of noise around AI. So we're seeing AI everywhere. We are
Mhm.
seeing ChatGPT everywhere. We are seeing Copilot everywhere. But the problem, in my opinion, is that these generic tools are generic. Have not been designed to be used in the operational shop floor, right? So it has two main problems. First, they make people inefficient because the tools are lacking the context. So people are wasting time copying and pasting information from one system to another, repeating the context, explaining things to the AI. And on the second hand, we've got a problem of security because people are trying to do their best. They are trying to be efficient at work, but sometimes those tools, those AI tools, have not been approved by the corporation yet, which means we are implying a risk of loss of confidentiality, taking confidential data of the organization outside the corporate tools. So I think that's the main challenge, making it all work together. So make people efficient, use AI, but ensure security and confidentiality at the same time.
Mhm. Super important topic, security confidentiality. We will go through it, of course, deeply during this webinar because it's one of the main concerns we are seeing all the time when talking about AI. Um, I really liked what you said. You talked about generic tools make people inefficient, and we spoke about context in the factory and how people want to become efficient and want to use those generic AI tools to be more efficient, but they end up becoming more inefficient. What type of knowledge or context are we talking about when we say that they need to incorporate that into their conversations with those generic tools? What type of context are we talking about?
So let me give you an example.
Hmm.
You know that team leader that knows that when summer hits, you need to drop the temperature of the mixture half a degree because
Hmm.
otherwise it breaks when baking, right? And he knows that because he's been operating the line 20, 30 years. Now, guess what? That guy is retiring next year. So all that knowledge is going right out of the door with him, which means we are losing critical information. So ERP tracks work orders, MES tracks machine states, but the most critical information of organizations lives in the heads of the people that work in the organization. So I think that's what the kind of knowledge we are talking about is operational human knowledge, which is very challenging to grasp because it's tribal, it's unwritten, it's everywhere and nowhere. So it's very likely to be lost when people come and go out of the company.
Mhm. Absolutely. I see a big challenge here because we are talking about applying AI to all
Mhm.
that knowledge, but still it lives in many people's head, right?
Mhm.
So this is already a challenge. I mean,
Yes.
how do you get all that knowledge which lives in people's heads, which is scattered through different systems? How do you get and how do you gather all that knowledge and context? So then you can apply AI to it.
Mm.
Before applying AI to this information, you first need to have it somewhere. How do you do that? I mean, this is challenging.
So the good news is that that is the challenge that we've been trying to solve in Emblim for a couple of years now. So MPS is already somehow handling this. By running your daily routines in the system, operators and team leaders are already describing corrective actions, improvement ideas, how they solve their problems, what they see on the field when they run maintenance checklist, for example. So the information is already there. It's stored, it's structured, and it's ready to be leveraged by AI.
Mhm. Great. So the NPS helps you gather all that operational information and knowledge under one single system, and then it is when you apply AI, right?
Right, that's why building Neila on top of the MPS, natively embedded inside the MPS, was quite a natural step.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. Uh, let's now you bring Neila. Let's bring and dive a little bit deeper into Neila exactly. And what do you mean when you say it is native? Okay, what do you mean exactly with Neila being native? How do you apply AI to all that context and information and knowledge that we just saw that can be gathered in one single system in the MPS? How does Neila exactly work when you say it's native?
So, as I mentioned, our principle for designing Neila was a maximum utility with minimum interaction, which means Neila is scattered through all the products, through all the MPS, right where you would need it. So, Neila uses something that we call context injection, which means that we provide Neila, yes, with the information she needs for for the task, sorry, she's about to perform. So let's say an operator is running a large industrial fryer and the chips start to look overfried. So 2 a.m. in the morning, no one around to help. The operator registers the incident inside the MPS and he can ask by clicking a button, ask Neila for a recommendation of action plans. So context injection means that we take the information that we know that the operator is handling, that is the problem description, where the incident is happening, the FRIA model, the initial analysis that the operator has done, and using that information, Neila can provide a recommendation for a contention, correction, and prevention action plan for the problem.
Mhm. Great. So by clicking a button, minimal
Mhm.
interaction. This is Neila is not. It's important to understand what Neila is. It's important to understand what is not. We're not talking just about the chatbot, which is attached to the
No, not at
MPS.
all. So we understand Neila as a co-intelligence layer. So it's present all over the system. It's not a separate module. It's something embedded and accessible from very different areas of the product. So think about, for example, a multinational company with a lot of factories around the globe. Maybe they can work on a shared knowledge base on incidents and how to solve them. So we want the guy in Spain seeing that board in Spanish, the guy in France seeing that board in French, being able to query that knowledge base in their natural language and provide the answers so that they can read them in their mother tongue. So Neila is doing that underneath in a transparent manner for the end user so that with this automatic translation, you can merge teams from different countries together.
Mhm. Great. We've seen already a couple very interesting real use cases. Let's go through a little bit more these real use cases. Neila has been built, as you said, not just as a chatbot, but as a native layer spread out through the NPS, so we can have real use cases and apply AI when it really needs to be applied and make people more efficient. So let's go through some of the real use cases. What can you actually do with Neila
Mm.
in the NPS, right?
Sure. So
Let's.
I've already mentioned the possibility of asking Neila for the recommendation of an action plan for the problem. Well, this kind of functionality is also available for improvement ideas or HAC risks,
Mhm.
so that the goal in those modules is to avoid the blank page syndrome. You are facing a
Yeah.
problem, you want to carry out an improvement idea, and you don't know exactly where to start. That's where Neila helps. So with a single click, you've got your first step to make things happening.
Mhm.
We can all again think about that multinational organization
Mhm.
that maybe has global safety templates that need to be evaluated across all factories. So
Mhm.
Naila allows template criteria definition in the corporate language, execution of that audit in the local mother tongue, and then reviewing the results again in the corporate language. So
Mhm.
this again is very helpful for our multinational customers.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
We
and
are.
if
Mhm.
we continue talking about audits, there is one functionality that I'm in love with, which is that you can use Naila or taking photographs and Naila to
Mhm.
run visual inspections on the floor, on the shop floor. So let's say you are building biscuits and packaging is super important because the
Mhm.
label must contain information about the allergens and the dates need to be in the specific format for the country you are selling these biscuits in. So when you are defining those control points for the start of production, you can specify in natural language how exactly that label needs to look like for every product. Yes, the
Mhm.
same way you could do with a new operator. So you just tell Naila in natural language. You can also provide a reference for image so that explaining how the label must look like to be able to run the whole mass production. So when the operator is about to start that production, he takes a picture and Naila is doing that work for him. So we remove the cognitive load of understanding different date formats, different content that the label has to have, because Naila already has all that information and can automatically assess whether that product is ready to go or we must stop production. Or you can provide a photograph of your workstation, for example. So
Uh-huh.
compare it with a reference status, and Naila will fulfill the 5S audit and even provide recommendations, improvement ideas on how to better match the 5S guidelines.
This is really amazing feature, which also blows my mind, to be honest. Super interesting. We have more use cases here.
Yes, because Naila is not only for operators, it can
Mhm.
only work for intermediate managers.
Mhm.
So let's say the plant manager of a beer factory asks the team leader of the non-alcoholic drinks why the OE has been dropping in the past months. So the team leader can go in and ask Naila for specific ad hoc graphs to analyze what has happened in the past months and build these kinds of analysis to come to the root causes of the deviation. Or even at the click of a button, he can ask for an insights report. So Naila will take the incidents in the past months and build first the statistical data of what has happened with Pareto graphs on the root causes, with the levels of incidence and so on, plus a qualitative analysis with recommendations of areas of improvement for the short term.
Mhm. Amazing. As we're seeing, really, really applied real use cases. I mean, not the white page syndrome that you were talking, but really applied very specific use cases scattered all over the place.
And again, the idea underneath is minimum interaction, maximum value. So we are
Minimum
trying to
in.
find specific tasks that you can run just as you navigate the MPS.
Mhm. Just by click of a button, you're already getting value without the need of adding prompts or anything.
Yes,
Amazing. And we have, well, one last use case here on the fly reporting, which we also mentioned here, right?
Yes,
Perfect.
exactly. That's the idea of being able of provide Neila with historical data so that
Mhm.
you get not only a ready to share report, yeah, your boss asks you for a report, that's it, click,
Yeah.
30 seconds, ready to go. But also I think it's really interesting the areas of improvement that Neila detects and recommends you to
Mhm.
your next steps for improvement.
Amazing. Yeah, really, really super interesting use cases. These are only a few that we have, of course. Reminder for everyone listening, the webinar, you can submit your questions. If you have questions about these specific use cases or any other questions, please don't hesitate. We will go through them shortly when we finish the session here. Okay. We've talked about why it is so important to have all the information, all the knowledge into one single system because it lives in people's head. We've talked about AI and Neila, Neila being native to the NPS, not a chatbot, and this gives us access to have a set of amazing real use cases, very specific use cases.
Mhm.
But there's one question and one topic in everyone's head, which is security. Okay, so
Right.
let's talk a little bit about security. Nowadays, Neila is managing a lot of information, as we've seen. Context injection is amazingly powerful, but
Mhm.
how secure is factory data and factory information when a client in a factory they're using Neila? How secure is information?
Mhm. So remember that Neila has been built on top of the mlean production system, which is already ISO 27001 certified
Mhm,
and GDPR compliant. So Neila also is. Additionally, by design, the data is never used for training and it never leaves the MPS ecosystem, which means it remains in European soil at all times. We've engineered Neila with the EU AI Act in mind, which will become
mhm,
mandatory in August this year. So we've got all these guardrails ensuring that we are making a suitable treatment of data.
mhm. Perfect. So Neila, the system, does it learn from using it?
It actually doesn't. So no, it
Mhm,
does not learn, but we give the end user the impression that it does because we
mhm,
use injection, sorry, and that uses fresh data. So it provides the end user the impression that Neila knows the latest about what he's doing in the factory, but in fact, the data is ephemeral. We provide Neila with the information he needs to perform the task, and once it's done, the information is volatile and it's not used anymore. So we don't use the data for training.
Okay, perfect. So data never leaves the environment, never
Mhm.
leaves client's environment. It's not used for training. But when we talk about information security, there's this external information security concern, which is one of the most obvious ones. Is my information secure? Is my information being shared for the model to learn? Uh, we've seen it's never going to happen. It's not. The information never leaves the environment. But we have another topic, which is internally. How secure information is internally in one factory. Because when someone is using the MPS,
Mhm.
they only have specific roles and specific permissions to see specific information of their own perimeters, okay? Because not everyone has access to all the information in all the perimeters. How
Mhm.
do we manage that role, those roles within the factory and the different permissions people have to access information in the MPS in one same factory?
Yes, exactly. So we take this very seriously. So we do not let a Naila access your database directly, never ever.
Mhm,
So we've got this principle that Naila sees what you see. So it means that it can only access the information that the logged user is seeing on the dashboard. I'll give you an example. Economic information on improvement ideas is usually hidden by role. So let's say an operator goes in and asks Neila about improvement ideas. He will
Mhm.
never get information about the economic data in the answer. The plant manager goes in, asks the same questions to Neila. The answer will include economic information because since we are using context injection, at the moment they make the question, we are providing Neila with the context that the logged user can see. So we can have a fine control of permissions and roles so that Neila sees what you see.
Okay, so basically same permissions apply to existing NPS, also to
Mhm.
Neila, right?
Exactly, yes.
Perfect. Great. And other important topic also, we've seen that Neila can recommend action plans. We've seen that it has many powerful real use cases, but one of the big concerns also is what happens with hallucination. I mean, this is a topic in AI, right?
Right.
We've all seen that generic tools we ask them something they don't know the answer. They sometimes they invent little things on the topic. So what
Mhm.
about Neila? Does Neila hallucinate? How do we manage that?
So remember that our main principle is maximum value with minimum interaction. That means
Mhm.
that we design and develop every task with very great care and detail. So we do something on top of context injection that we call prompt grounding, which means that for every task, we are giving Neila a very specific set of instructions and guardrails on where to find the answer, how to behave, what can she do, what she cannot do. If she can find the answer to your question in the context we've provided, she will tell.
Okay, perfect. Um, Great. So we are coming to the end of the sessions, and we are getting closer to the Q&As. So please keep sending. We already have a few questions. Please keep sending questions. We will have time to go through all of them. But before we go through all the questions, uh, big question for all the clients who are listening to this webinar, who are already using the MPS. When will Neila be available?
So we're super excited because Neila will be available for all customers this Monday, the 1st of June.
Mhm.
So we are on beta mode we're on a trial, but everyone will be able to test these use cases we've been talking about. And as I said, the engineering team is super excited for end users to put their hands on it and provide tons of feedback so that we can build a beta Neila together.
Great. Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Angelica, for the amazing explanations we've got over Neila, what it is, real use cases. People are going to benefit from starting next Monday. Let's go now through some of the questions we're getting from people attending here the webinar. So we have first question here. Is it possible to feed AI Neila, with manuals of the machines? Can it predict when a problem is happening based on the symptoms of the machine?
So in the action recommendation example that I gave, we are taking as a context all the information we've got about the incident.
Mhm.
So if you've used the MPS, you know that there's different steps in the analysis of a problem. One of those steps is the evidences of the problem, and there you can freely attach whatever you need. So that information about the machines or about manuals or what is happening can be provided either in the description of the problem or via this specific attachment tab. And yes,
Okay.
Neila will use it in the answer.
Mhm. Perfect. More questions. Do users need any specific training for using Neila?
So our design principles, again, maximum utility with minimum integration. So it's about Neila being natural to use and integrated inside the MPS. But anyway, we know that end users need support, and that's why our great customer success team has the mlean Academy, where you can find contents on how to use Neila, all these functionalities that we talk about. We've got a live assistant, a chat version that you can also ask questions to. And we've got a continuous training programs with a specific sessions on Neila that you can either join or review afterwards. So there's also a training initiative ongoing for end users, even though from the engineering perspective, we try for it to be as natively integrated as possible.
Perfect. More questions we have. Can we talk verbally with the AI, or is it only written interaction with it?
We've developed the written interaction, but remember that you can always dictate to your devices. So it's not a conversation, it's written, but you can also use your voice to provide the question. Why we decided not to implement the conversation so far is because it's something that we are testing, but factories are usually very noisy. So verbal interactions are we're testing it, but we started with the written one.
Okay, but yeah, the question was specifically talk verbally with the AI, so it is possible because it's a feature that is embedded. So
You can
perfect.
dictate.
Yeah. Does Neila recognize external systems linked to mlean or the MPS?
So if you mean taking information from outside the MPS, no, because we couldn't have control of roles and permissions and what Neila sees and everything we've been talking about. So the context we provide is the specific that is integrated inside mlean. But there's a workaround. You know that mlean has an open API. So for example, if you feed a problem with information from Salesforce or any ticketing system, so that the information is stored inside the problem inside mlean, then yes, it's part of the context that Neila will use.
Okay, perfect. We are seeing a lot of questions here also regarding Neila capabilities and features. Also remember to everyone, I want to remind that our amazing engineering team is constantly working on evolving the product, and this is live product. So we're getting updates every single time. So we love to hear your feedback in order to understand the needs of our clients. More questions we have. Is it possible for Neila to learn specific things related to processes or ways of working? Can the user feed the assistant with additional key information that may not be available in mlean in order to optimize its responses and tailor them to each factory?
So again, we use context injection, and Neila does not learn from your content. This is very important from a security standpoint. So you cannot feed Neila with content to learn, but you can play with the context so as you get the same goal that person described. And I'll give you an additional example. So we can also use Neila to configure specific scores for audits. So let's think about the VDA 663 in the automotive sector, for example, which has very specific rules for degradation depending on critical control points. So it's something that is complex to make programmatically. It's not super complex, but I mean, it takes time. It requires an ad hoc development and so on. So you can tell Neila in natural language, hey, whenever this critical key point is non-compliant, make the result lower or whatever. So there's ways of telling Neila how you want she to behave without the need of actually training and learning and all those things. There's like workarounds to tweak Neila into what you want for your system.
To inject that context, yes. Perfect. Can the user provide feedback on Neila's responses? This is one question we have here.
This is something that we will not have for Monday, but we are definitely working on it because, as I said, we are excited to get feedback. We really want to hear from you. So not only we will integrate it into the product, you've got our usual support channels, and we will be launching a specific initiative in the incoming months to have conversations with end users to understand where to see the value, where it's not usable, and what other use cases they are missing in Neila.
Amazing. More questions regarding, we've seen one of the use cases we had was audits. Who does the validation, the final validation of the audit? Is it Neila which validates automatically the audits, or do we keep that human?
Yeah, so super important point. Thank you for the question. So there's a concept in this AI world we are living in, which is human in the loop, which means AI is great, but we always need a human in the loop. An end user telling whether the result is good or not applies to to this specific context or not. So in the case of auditing, we provide, imagine we fulfill the audit for you, but you are the one tapping on save, tapping on sign, so that it is you as a human saying, acknowledging the results by Neila and saying, yes, this is something that's correct. Same thing goes for the recommendation of an action plan. So Neila recommends the actions, but it's not mandatory to create them or to fulfill them. So it's at the end of the day, is the human in the loop taking the final decision.
Perfect and super important concept. Completely agree. Keeping that human always and not just delegating everything to AI is super important. More questions. Does Neila need a large amount of historical data to be useful?
No, it can provide recommendations or help you fulfill an audit right from the start, because we are using all the information that we already have in the NPS. So the more information you have, the more accurate the results are. But you can start right away without needing a lot of information inside the NPS already.
Perfect. We have a few more questions. Can does Neila understand company-specific terminology?
So
Acronyms.
we go again to the context that is provided. So if the acronyms are already there, the specific words or argot that the people are using, Neila will answer in the same terms because she takes the context and provides the answer based on the context. So if that terminology is there, yes, she will understand and answer in the same terminology.
Okay, we have one question about if the information can data from your NPS be used to improve recommendations for other customers. We've seen that Neila is not learning and information is completely always under your same environment, right?
Right. So the MPS already took care of that by a strict data segmentation. So we never mix information from one customer to another, never ever. And as we said, Neila is not accessing the database. It uses ephemeral, volatile data to perform the task. So no, the information from one customer never leaves the ecosystem, never goes to another.
Okay, perfect. Is it included by default or is it considered as a new module?
It is not designed as a separate module, but it's natively embedded in all the modules that we have, which means you can opt in or opt out of Neila. Yes, we can do that, but it's not a new section, let's say. It's integrated in the modules you already have.
Okay, it will be spread out all of the different modules. You will find tips of Neila when it applies to have this minimum interaction that we saw.
Yes.
So perfect. Will audit templates need to be edited manually to adhere to Neila capabilities to complete?
No, we are taking what's already there. So it's super good question. In the example I gave about biscuits label and packaging. So let's say you already have your OK first part or startup production checklist already defined. Inside those control points, there's already a reference image and a longer description for the end user, for the human to understand how to assess the checkpoint. So we are using that information for Neila. So you don't need to tweak it additionally. It's just using the information you already have in the NPS. The more descriptive it is, the better Neila will work. So you probably, as you use Neila, you will get accustomed to describing things in a way that provides better answers, but it's not a requirement. We can start right now using whatever you have in the NPS.
Perfect. Is information from Neila 100% right, or does she make also mistakes? Another question we have, I guess, around hallucination that we discussed before.
Right. So again, we use this technique called prompt grounding, where we are telling Neila not to hallucinate, to take
Yeah.
the context into account. It is also true that it is an LLM underneath. So it may happen that it provides not the most accurate answer that you could be expecting. But we are providing specific guardrails to ensure that only the context is taken into account.
Perfect. This is a very specific question about a specific use case. Can it highlight training gaps in my workforce and then suggest the training which is needed, basically around our skills matrix, right? What our skills matrix will would do, basically.
But that's exactly something that we are working on now. So
Uh-huh.
it will not be available on Monday, but in incoming weeks, it will be there.
Perfect. To everyone, again, uh, as Angélica shared, Neila will be available starting next Monday. We are constantly working on evolving it as we do with all our NPS. So don't hesitate to give us all this super valuable feedback
Mhm.
so we can work around it. Okay, and we have room and time for a couple last questions. Is there a training added to best use Neila, the lessons learned and the best practices? Well, we've covered this one. There is this under customer training program, and our customer success teams are, of course, always ready
Mhm.
to help. Correct?
Yes.
And how do you recommend to introduce Neila to operators who may be skeptical about AI? Uh,
Yeah, well, I
Tricky
think that that's
question.
super interested. I think there's two important lines of dialogue, let's say here. So on the one hand, as a corporation, what's the stand regarding AI? So if we are trusting Naila, that's the message that we need to pass to operators, that it has been verified, that it's compliant, that it's a corporate tool, so that they can know that they are not putting at risk any confidential data, nothing like it. So that's one part of the thing. The other part, whether Naila is useful or not, I don't think that's something that we need to convince people of. They need to live it themselves. So probably, I don't know, let's say a Spanish company with 10 factories, automatic translation is obviously not useful for them because they all work in Spanish. So that's it. Let's not talk about Naila translating things, right? But people with night shifts where operator is not autonomous today to solve problems. Let's give it a try with Naila. Maybe they just start seeing that without having maybe the team leader or the supervisor on the shop floor in the night, they can still move on and be autonomous. So I think it's more understanding the use case, starting to use it, and actually seeing the value rather than being convinced that it actually has value. And again, as you said, we're super happy to get that feedback. So if a Naila is not valuable at all, please tell us, and we will build something different because we are sure there's many use cases where Naila adds a lot of value. So if we are not covering them, please tell us because we are sure that we will get there.
Great, perfect. And well, the very last question, which has already been covered, when is it going to be available? Next Monday, starting 1st of June. If anyone still has any questions that we haven't covered, please don't hesitate. Remember, if you're already using the NPS, you can contact our customer success team, and we will be super happy to help you. And where da, da, da. And if you're not yet NPS client and mlean client, please don't hesitate. Go to our website, mlean.com, request a demo. You will have a personalized, tailored demo to cover your specific needs and go through not only Neila, as we've spoken today, but how the MPS can help you make your shop floor more agile. Uh, Thank you very much, Angélica. It's been
Thank
really
you.
amazing. Thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. I could talk about Naila for hours, so thank you.
Yeah, it's super interesting. We're super
Very
excited,
exciting.
super excited to have it live starting on Monday. We really hope, as everything we do, that you see the value behind. We are completely sure that it will help you become even more agile and boost your efficiency and your execution in the shop floor. So yeah, Monday is around the corner, and Neila will be available then. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. You will receive the link to this webinar so you can share it internally also. And if you have any questions, additional questions that haven't been covered, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Thank you very much, Angélica.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.